Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today I will analyze the case of Megan Boswell. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Megan Boswell was born in 2001 and lived in Sullivan County, Tennessee. Her parents, Angela and Tommy Boswell, had a tumultuous relationship and divorced in 2016. Megan was primarily raised by her grandparents. As a teenager, Megan started a romantic relationship with another teenager named Ethan Perry. Years later, in 2017, Ethan enlisted in the Army. He still considered himself to be romantically involved with Megan at this time. In the spring of 2018, Megan informed Ethan that she was pregnant and claimed that he was the father. Ethan had his doubts about paternity, but decided to run under the assumption that Megan was telling the truth. For his job in the Army, Ethan was stationed in Louisiana. While he was there, Megan went into foster care. This may have happened due to Megan missing school. Either way, the authorities would later blame Megan for ending up in foster care. It was due to her behavior, not the behavior of other people. On November 21, 2018, Megan gave birth to a daughter named Evelyn May Boswell. As this was going on, Ethan was still in the Army. He had been moved to El Paso, Texas. Without giving him any notice, Megan showed up at Ethan's hotel in El Paso. She had Evelyn with her. Ethan, Megan, and Evelyn spent a few days together. This was the first time that Ethan had met Evelyn, and it would be the only time he would ever see her. Megan returned to Tennessee as Ethan continued his service in the Army. In October 2019, Megan and Evelyn started living in a trailer on property controlled by her father, Tommy. He allowed them to live there rent-free. Tommy lived in a house on the property not far from Megan's trailer. Megan applied for a job at a now-defunct chicken restaurant called Hunter T's Chicken Shack on Route 75 in Blountville, Tennessee. The owner's son was named Hunter Wood. Megan and Hunter became romantically involved. In December 2019, Megan had a disagreement with her father, Tommy, and moved out of the trailer. She and Evelyn ended up living with Hunter. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. On February 18, 2020, Megan's father, Tommy Boswell, reported that Evelyn was missing. He had not seen her since Thanksgiving 2019. Other people had last seen Evelyn in early December 2019. Megan failed to take Evelyn to a pediatrician appointment on December 5. Here is what the police found during the course of their investigation. The police visited where Megan was living, but Evelyn was not there. Megan told investigators she last saw Evelyn on December 26, 2019, when she left her with her former lover, Ethan Perry. Again, Megan claimed that Ethan was Evelyn's father. Megan indicated that she was worn out and it was time for Ethan to step up. The police determined that Ethan was not Evelyn's father, and he was not involved with her disappearance. Megan introduced a new story to investigators. She claimed that her mother, Angela Boswell, had been keeping Evelyn from her since December 2019. According to Megan, Angela was demanding that Megan repay a debt before she would give Evelyn back. Megan further claimed that she had reason to believe that Angela took Evelyn to a campground in Virginia using a silver camper. The police investigated Megan's accusations, but found no evidence that her mother, Angela, was involved in Evelyn's disappearance. On February 25, 2020, investigators interviewed Megan again. This time, she had a new story. Here is what Megan told the police. At one point, she woke up to find Evelyn not breathing. Evelyn's eyes were open, she was not cold, and she was not crying or making any noise. Megan attempted to perform CPR, but could not revive Evelyn. She was not sure when this happened. Megan did not know the date of Evelyn's death. Megan implied that her boyfriend Hunter Wood had taken Evelyn and may have disposed of her body. She was afraid to call anyone because she did not want to know what Hunter had done with Evelyn. Hunter left with Evelyn when it was dark, and it was still dark when he returned. Megan mentioned how she wrapped Evelyn's body in a blanket because she did not want her to be cold. The police investigated and found no evidence that Hunter Wood was connected to Evelyn's disappearance. Megan was charged with filing a false report. Investigators believe that she was guilty of a lot worse than that, like murder, but they did not have enough evidence to bring a charge like that at this time. This would change after Megan's father, Tommy, called the police to his property on March 6, 2020, saying that he remembered seeing Megan's car near a shed. This shed was right next to a playhouse. The police searched both structures and found a trash can in the playhouse. Evelyn's body was in this trash can. She had been dead for quite some time. The clothing that Evelyn was wearing matched the description of the clothing Megan said Evelyn was wearing when she last saw her. Evelyn was wrapped in a blanket, and aluminum foil was wrapped around her head. Her cause of death was asphyxiation. Investigators believe that Megan murdered her daughter Evelyn, then placed her body in the trash can. Megan worked alone. She was the only one involved in her daughter's homicide. The police charged Megan with many offenses, including first-degree premeditated murder and felony murder. In total, she was now facing 19 charges. In February 2025, Megan Boswell went to trial. She was found guilty of all 19 charges against her, including 1 count of first-degree premeditated murder and 2 counts of felony murder. The jury recommended life in prison with the possibility of parole after 51 years. The judge sentenced Megan to life in prison for the 3 counts of murder. For the other 16 charges, Megan's sentencing is scheduled for May 22, 2025. Now moving to my analysis. Megan Boswell maintains her innocence. Her defense argued that Megan may have lied repeatedly and done some other terrible things, but the state did not prove that she killed her daughter, Evelyn. The state, of course, disagrees. They are satisfied with the verdict. This brings me to the question, was Megan Boswell guilty of murder? Let's take a look at the evidence both for and against the idea that she was guilty, starting with the inculpatory factors. Prior to Evelyn's disappearance, Megan was not exactly in the running for the Mother of the Year award. For example, one of her friends said that Megan once failed to buckle Evelyn into a car seat properly and waited too long to change Evelyn's diaper. Another friend went out to eat with Megan one time. She could smell Evelyn across the table because she was so dirty. Megan once referred to Evelyn using the phrase, mean as blank. The blank rhymes with duck. In early December 2019, Megan's daughter Evelyn went missing mysteriously. She told people that her daughter was with her father, which was not true. Megan never reported Evelyn as missing. If Megan had nothing to do with Evelyn's murder, why didn't she report her missing? After Megan's father reported Evelyn missing, Megan told many different lies to the authorities. She falsely accused her former lover, Ethan Perry, her mother, Angela Boswell, and her boyfriend, Hunter Wood. Those 3 people were cleared of any wrongdoing. While her daughter was still missing, Megan posted messages on social media that were celebratory in nature. For instance, she posted a message on Instagram about getting a new house. The police found Evelyn's body in a trash can inside a playhouse, which was near the trailer where Megan and Evelyn used to live. Evelyn had died from asphyxiation. Her head had been wrapped in aluminum foil. Megan's fingerprints were on this foil. Physical evidence did not connect anyone else to Evelyn's body or to the trash can. There was a shed next to the playhouse which contained a large quantity of baby-related items, including a stroller. Megan's father, Tommy, had seen Megan's vehicle backed up to the shed, although he did not see who was operating the vehicle. The most likely person to operate Megan's vehicle would have been Megan. Perhaps Megan left the baby-related items in the shed because she knew there was no need for them anymore. Later, Megan Boswell admitted that she was aware that Evelyn was dead, but claimed that she did not know when her daughter died. Moving to the exculpatory factors, Megan argued that she became frightened after discovering that Evelyn was dead. Her defense indicated that Megan was unsophisticated and afraid of getting in trouble with law enforcement. She didn't tell anyone about Evelyn's death because she was in denial. A medical expert for the state indicated that SIDS could not be ruled out as a cause of Evelyn's death. Both this expert and another expert were unable to determine if Evelyn was dead when she was placed in the trash can. Maybe Megan was only guilty of disposing Evelyn's body and did not actually kill her. When considering all the evidence in this case, do I believe that Megan Boswell was guilty of murder? Yes, in my opinion, she was guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Megan had a long history of telling lies, and her fingerprints were found on the aluminum foil wrapped around Evelyn's head. What do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. Megan was self-centered, impulsive, irresponsible, immature, manipulative, erratic, deceptive, cold, callous, hedonistic, lazy, remorseless, and had a sense of entitlement. Growing up, she had a number of negative experiences which may have impacted her mental health. Megan was raised in a tumultuous household environment and witnessed drug use involving her parents, at least according to her mother, Angela. A social worker testified that Megan had endured traumatic experiences. Megan attempted to manipulate just about everybody she encountered. Furthermore, she was not particularly selective when deciding to engage with romantic interests. She became pregnant in 2018. At this time, Megan was excited about the pregnancy because it offered more opportunities to manipulate people. She started lying to Ethan Perry, falsely claiming that he was Evelyn's father. When Megan lived with Evelyn in Tommy's trailer, she did not keep the trailer clean. She and her daughter lived in squalor. One witness had seen feces on the floor, in the refrigerator, and in the oven. When Megan found a new romantic partner, Hunter Wood, she was ready to change gears and reset her life. As part of this mission, she decided that Evelyn was no longer useful for any purpose Megan valued. Working alone, she murdered her daughter and placed her in the trash can. Knowing that she did not need any baby-related items, Megan left those in the shed. From Megan's perspective, Evelyn was just an object to be used and discarded. Megan probably viewed all people this way. When Megan was no longer able to hide the fact that Evelyn was missing, she offered a series of lies blaming everyone but herself. The quantity of lies may have been high, but the quality was low. Megan was rightly found guilty by a jury of her peers. The crime that Megan committed is referred to as maternal filicide. Research has identified several risk factors for this offense. For example, having a marital status of single, low educational level, young age, being a full-time caregiver, low intelligence, financial difficulties, and a history of mental health symptoms including cluster B personality pathology. That is, having antisocial, narcissistic, borderline, or histrionic personality traits. One could argue that Megan has most, if not all, of the risk factors. Now moving to my final thoughts. Many people are not happy about Megan's sentence. At the time I'm making this video, her sentencing is not complete, but it does appear as though she will have a chance of parole someday. It stands to reason that the judge will honor the jury's decision. In my opinion, the sentence in this case is fair. Over time, most offenders like Megan experience significant remorse. I don't know if Megan will, but statistically, it is the most likely outcome. In addition to remorse, mental health clinicians evaluating Megan need to be on the lookout for the development of insight. Megan will need this to safely live outside prison someday. Developing insight is less likely than feeling remorse, but 51 years is a long time. Maybe Megan will come to realize the devastation she caused. Ironically, as far as suffering, Megan is better off not understanding her true nature and motives. Her lack of insight shields her from the pain caused by her antisocial behavior, sparing her from the torment of self-awareness. Instead of gaining a deeper understanding of herself, Megan may spend the next 51 years simply creating more lies, building layer upon layer of falsehoods to fortify the crumbling facade of her innocence. Perhaps the cruelest irony is that Megan's greatest punishment is also her greatest mercy, never truly knowing who she is. Those are my thoughts on the case of Megan Boswell. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.